everyone, it's Sal Jade from the Psychic Healing Academy. Thank you so much for joining me here today as I share with you the answers to the questions, can I refer to the booklet when I am learning oracle cards or when I am reading oracle cards? So for those of you who don't know me, I've been blessed enough to have helped over 90,000 students get in touch with their intuitive gifts, read tarot and start online businesses. And if you ever want to get more of these offerings that I give on YouTube, please do hit subscribe. And if you've got any questions along the way, please pop them in the comments below. So it's been 10 years this year since I released my best-selling course on Udemy, How to Be Psychic, Psychic Development for Beginners, where I teach students how to read oracle cards. And one of the common questions that I get, is it okay if I'm still looking at the booklet while I'm giving readings? Now, there's different levels of answers to this. So first of all, for me, if you are practicing and you are learning and you're just like practicing on yourself, or you're practicing on friends and family, or if you're, say, in my course and you're practicing in the How to Be Psychic private study group that has over 5,000 people in there that are all practicing with each other, then for me, when you are giving oracle card readings, it's totally okay to refer to the booklet because you're getting familiar with the process. Every oracle card creator has a different kind of system and a different way, and every oracle card deck is different. Some include lots of writing on it, so you might not need to delve too much in if you're getting asked a question and you pull a card. Others can maybe not have even any writing and just have images, or others might just have a couple of words like Earth Mother, or spiritual development, or support, or healing, or anything that's just like very one-liney and not really giving you more information. And so say, for example, you're asking a love question, like you want to know about your love life in the next few months, and you get just a healing card. I mean, you can talk to that person and talk about healing and say, well, it sounds like you need to do some healing. But if you go into the booklet, the author will often include a lot more details, and they might even include specific names of angels that you can call in, or spirit guides or ascended masters that you can call in that can help with this. So definitely being able to refer to the booklet in the beginning is really helpful. And some oracle cards too might just be on particular things like ascended masters. So say, for example, there's a card that says karma and it comes from Saint Germain, and you might be like, well, karma, what's that mean? What does it mean when I'm asking questions about my love life and I'm single? Karma what? Am I having bad karma, good karma? Is my karma getting worse? Is it getting better? And they can be very confusing if you don't understand what the deeper meanings are and the deeper levels that the author's gone into when they have created that card and worked with the artist, because quite often the author and the artist are two different people. So going in and seeing a little bit more background about what that particular ascended master or saint or angel or spirit guide means, or even if it's an animal card reading, can be really helpful in relating it to the question, as well as additional information. So quite often in the booklet they'll say an extended message, so they'll say, if you've drawn this today, this could mean X, Y, Z. And there might even be a couple of different interpretations. So for me, it's helpful while you are getting used to learning oracle cards and practicing to refer to the booklet. And something I love to do, I love to actually just have a pen when I get a new booklet, and I just do a couple of little dot points in the booklet just to sort of sum up the theme. So if I'm giving myself a 3 or 5 card reading, I might just be like, oh, okay, I'll paraphrase. I'll go through and be like one little line, one little line, one little line, and then I'll know that that's my reading. And to reinforce that knowledge, I'll often in my little journal, like I've got a beautiful creative journal that I go in and I will actually say the reading in the journal. I'll write it out and I'll put those dot points, and that helps really familiarize myself with the cards, and so that I know next time I read I don't need to go back to the booklet. I kind of already know what the themes are. Now, there is a couple of instances where I say it's not a good idea to be referring to the booklet, and the first and probably obvious one is if you are giving a professional reading and you are face to face with someone. Obviously it can start to look a little bit unprofessional if you're constantly picking up the book. Now, if there's a one-off, like say you've got a reading and a spread and there's one card that's just not making sense and you're like, oh, everything else makes sense, but this one thing, I'm a bit stuck on it. I don't know how to relate it to the question. Then I would just let the client know, say, listen, I'm really sorry. I don't usually do this, but there's this one card. I don't want to give you the wrong interpretation. I kind of feel like I know what it means. Start to give them a bit of the interpretation of what's there and what you can see, but I just want to get some more information in here. And that way you're letting them know that, you know, it's not a usual thing you do. It should be something you do only rarely. I mean, don't just pretend it's unusual. Really do only do it rarely. But the occasional hiccup like that, I think, is very acceptable, and I think your clients will be okay with it. And look, I've worked with healers for years who will pull a card for me and they'll suddenly be like, oh, I just want to go read more about this. And sometimes even your clients appreciate the full, like getting if you read out the full thing, they get a lot more depth out of that. But please do rely on this very sporadically. Like, it's not something you want to be doing all the time. It will tend to get your clients losing faith in you, and it will also make your clients kind of feel like, you know what, I should have just bought my own oracle deck and done my own reading. What am I paying you for? So that's why you really don't want to do it too often in professional readings. Now, what if you are doing a Zoom, not a Zoom reading, but what if you are doing an email reading, or you're doing a phone reading? There's a bit more flexibility there, but again, something to consider as you get better at reading is with oracle cards and downloading intuitive information to add to oracle cards, is that there's a flow that happens, and you really want to be making sure that it's a very rare thing that you're constantly going in and looking at that book, because you could interrupt the flow. You could be going more into your head a bit because you're reading. So it's just a different part of your brain. Whereas if you're actually touching the cards, or you're actually connecting with the message and connecting with the question and connecting with your client's energy, then you're going to get more information than just the oracle cards, because oracle cards are less in terms of what they give out as a message if you're just looking at the card, compared to, say, tarot cards, which often have much more in depth in them. So that's just another little tip I would give you, is just to be really sure that you're not doing it very often. As an emergency, you could kind of maybe flick it quickly and say, just give me a second, I need to just look deeper into this. But again, do it quite rarely. I suggest trying to learn the cards and the meanings, and even maybe using that little tip I just talked about then, where you just jot a couple of things in. I actually put them in Texter. I said pen, but I like Texter. I like different colours. Colours kind of stimulate my mind a bit. And then just jotting them in there and then practicing with it. And when that card comes up again, you'll just have those couple dot points and you won't have to read the whole thing out again. And you'll start to get more familiar with them. So I hope that's helped anyone who's ever wondered, should I be referring to the booklet? Am I hampering my learning? In the beginning, while you're learning, I think it's okay. Unless you're super confident in your psychic gifts or your intuitive gifts and your clairvoyance, then you can look in and out, because you might be nervous already, and it will just help. It'll jog stuff, and you'll get better at connecting the themes and the extended meanings with what's actually being asked. But as you become more professional, if you're charging, it really do make it a very rare occurrence. So I hope that's helped. And again, if you'd like more information about any of my best-selling courses on Udemy, do pop the link in below, or you can go to saljade.com and click on Udemy courses. And if you'd like to get more of these free offerings on intuitive development and tarot and running an online business, please do hit subscribe and comment below. Thank you so much for joining me.